And dangerous hurricane is bearing down on Hawaii. The islands will start to feel that powerful punch from the Category 4 storm right in the next few hours. American and Hawaiian Airlines have now issued travel advisories to customers. Both are waiving reservation change fees. Tom Sater is at the World Weather Center. I know you've been following this closely. Tom, it's not our imagination, right? I mean, Hawaii's not used to these kinds of hurricanes.
No, in fact, just hours ago, Paula, this was a Category 5. It was the top of the charts. This is the strongest hurricane to ever come this close to the Hawaiian Islands, and the records will go back to the 1950s. More in the records in a moment. We're just under 500 kilometers away from the Big Island, just over 700 kilometers away from Honolulu. This was a Category 5 hours ago, and as you mentioned, Category 4. We're starting to see the outer bands move into the Big Island. There is Hilo, and remember the volcano Kilauea. That's right on this little point here, so we're heavy bands of rain moving over that area. But where is this going to go? I mean, there is some uncertainty when you look at the computer models. This is what we call the spaghetti plots, and there are a couple of outliners that bring it over toward Maui, keep it south of Oahu and Kauai. But again, there is still a cone of uncertainty, and I'll show you. But going back to 1959, Dot in 59 and Nikki, I mean, those are the only two hurricanes to ever hit the Hawaiian Islands. There's been 14 storms to come within 60 miles or 100 kilometers, but the other two storms were just tropical storms. So this really is a beast. And remember, when we look at the track, the cone of uncertainty includes a lot of the islands. The worst part of these hurricanes are the front right quadrant. So as it circulates counterclockwise, the seas, the storm surge, the heavy rainfall, and keep in mind it's a mountainous area, that's going to squeeze out a lot more rainfall. We're looking at about 20, 25-foot waves, and that's about 6 to 8 meters plus, and that would be more over toward Maui here. So the waves are a problem. Evacuation, sandbagging, schools are closed, University of Hawaii. We've got the warnings in effect now from the Big Island westward, and then we have a watch. And this will be upgraded to a warning as this storm gets closer. Its closest approach would be Thursday afternoon, but this computer model wants to stall it. And if that occurs, what we already believe was going to be about 200 to 400 millimeters of rainfall, could that possibly become 500, 600 millimeters of rain? That's possible. I mean, we could see at crazy amounts, 20, 25 inches, because these areas of purple are 15, and then you get up to these areas of white. I mean, that's 500 millimeters where you have those higher terrains. So flash flooding is a major concern, Paula, and not just that. The landslide threat that we see when heavy rain moves into the area, the damaging surf. Of course, most of the structures, because it is a tourist area, can handle this, but many people live in rural areas, again, vulnerable, and many are off the grid. But even if you're on the grid, we're looking at power outages. So this really could impact it. But right now, we think it's going to stay just offshore to the south and just give them a slight chance of hurricane winds. But tropical storm force winds, no doubt, will be felt across all of the islands.
Yeah, it'll still be quite severe. Tom, just before I let you go, do we have then a concrete idea that this storm will hit in the way that you've just projected there, or there's still a lot of uncertainty? I mean, what's the real risk, that it will stall or that they will take a direct hit?
Well, if it stalls, and there's a couple models that want to do that, the heavy rainfall could be devastating alone. I really believe this is going to stay offshore, but if we have that eye wall, Paula, just start to reorganize, it could jog it one way or the other, that'll throw the track off.
Okay, sure, fair enough. Tom, who continues to track the storm for us, appreciate it. We now go to Peter Ingram. He is the president and CEO of Hawaiian Airlines. You are one busy man right now. You're joining me on the line for Honolulu. We appreciate your time. In terms of what you're doing, first and foremost, to keep people safe, but also guard against what would be some of the more severe effects of this storm.
Well, sure. First, thanks for having me on, Paula. It is, a pretty dynamic situation right now, and I just heard you talking about a lot of the uncertainty in the forecast, and I think that's what our operational teams are facing, is trying to make decisions in the face of uncertain information, and obviously we're doing that with the safety of our guests and our employees paramount in our thinking.
At this point right now, in terms of the threat level to an airline like yours, have you grounded everything? I mean, in terms of trying to keep, as I said, your people safe, but also your position, your equipment in position where it needs to be?
Yeah, actually, as we sit here today, our operation is operating as normal. And, I'm sitting in a conference room in Honolulu right now, and the sun is shining outside. And, the closest point of approach of the storm isn't expected until early to midday on Friday, our time at this point. So we're operating fairly normally today. Obviously, guests are making arrangements to get to where they want to be. We expect to run a fairly normal operation today, and actually for much of tomorrow, even into the evening. It will vary a little bit by island. We operate throughout the chain of islands, and so the effects of the storm will hit Hawaii Island, or the Big Island, first. And here in Oahu, it is more of a Friday event for us than a Wednesday or Thursday event.
Yeah, as unfortunately as we've all come to know, Peter, sometimes these storms are unpredictable, and I know that's why you guys are working hard to make sure you can definitely guard against any of the worst repercussions. Peter, we'll check in with you again towards the end of the week, keeping our fingers crossed that storm stays offshore. Appreciate it. Now.